track straight from here to Mondstadt.
An express line right to the best fish blasting spot?
Oh, okay. Might not be the best idea. Oh, it's Eula and... Clarand? You're here in Mondstadt?
Yes. I received an invitation to exchange swordsmanship techniques. I'd heard of the single-handed sword form of Favonius blade work. But after crossing swords with Miss Eula, it turns out the Knights of Favonius are quite accomplished with the greatsword as well.
You're quite an accomplished swordsman yourself. Although I suppose that's to be expected of the champion duelist. Even over a few short rounds, I feel like we've learned a lot from each other.
Esse é bom lugar para treinar.
For sure. You don't have to worry about breaking stuff or accidentally hurting anyone nearby.
That's right. There also appear to be automatic harpasta launchers in the area.
Ah, that's one of your local traditions, isn't it? Shall we have ourselves a game then?
Why not? You should know, though, I'm not easy to beat at this game. Ah, hold on. No muskets allowed.
Oh, why not? Doesn't it still count as hitting the harpastum?
A sword's range is limited, though, so it wouldn't be fair.
Ah, of course. Then you should use a gun as well. Voila, problem solved.
Razor? What are you doing here? And shouldn't this thing be in Wolvenden?
Fiery woman came to take Lupa call. I said no.
Você impediu ela?
She backed down, but then said I would do just as well. This sword is here, for now. I am here to protect it.
Hold on, let Paimon get this straight. Alice was planning to bring Boreas here, but you stopped her. So, she took the illusion of the sword and left you to guard it instead. That would make the trial of Boreas the trial of Razor now, wouldn't it?
Isso aconteceria se alguém tentasse tomar essa espada?
We fight. I protect Lupa call.
Wow! Looks like Paimon's guess was spot on. Don't worry, Razor. No one's gonna take this sword. It's not even real.
Not real?
Vamos deixar as explicações para Nicole.
Alice's scheming claims another victim, huh? Let's take the photo and get Razor out of here.
Hey there, friend.
Espera, o que você tá fazendo aqui?
Well, we couldn't just drag Catherine in here, could we? What would the real Adventurers Guild do without her? Not that she ever shows it on the outside, but she's one busy bee, that's for sure. I mean, just think about how much time it must take to travel between all the different nations.
É.
Anyway, I heard this whole world was constructed for magic. Incredible stuff. Even the books on this shelf are real. Not a single prop to be found. Huh. I really gotta take a better look around once this gig's done.
Creio que nossos negócios ainda estejam de pé, não?
Not today, I'm afraid. The funds I need haven't transferred in yet. Once I've earned enough more from this trip, I'll open up shop at the usual spot.
A pessoa que realiza esse serviço é quem me dá gemas essenciais diariamente, sabe?
True, but it doesn't seem like the people who created this place set up anything like that. Hey, why don't I go ask for some, and then we all can have a few? Huh. But could we even take them back into the real world? That's the question.
So that's where it was. Diona? What are you doing here?
E com Ictomisauros também.
It's my first time seeing these little guys. They're from that land, right? They're so cute. Alice put a version of the cat's tail here and asked me to run it. It has the setup I'm used to and everything. Now, all I need to do is make some drinks. And you know what? This is the perfect chance to change all the ingredients to super weird stuff. I'll get people to lose interest for sure. Looks like your campaign is going strong, huh? Even out here. Of course. The only thing missing is... the cats, actually. They seem to prefer the real cat's tail. But that's not a huge surprise. Cats are sensitive about where they live. Even if the place looks exactly the same, they'll know something's off. So, Alice said she would find different staff instead. And then these little saurians appeared. Aww. Bennett gave me a few pointers on how to get along with them. Turns out, there's not a huge difference between them and a cat or a dog. Hey! Then you should call this place the Saurian's Tail instead! Huh. I think I've seen saurian-shaped cookies somewhere before, too. Maybe I should bake some to sell around here. Huh? Weird. Did Mondstatters always raise boars around here? Found it! Barbara, over here! Coming! Oh, how did this happen?
Qual é o problema?
Barbara and I were just grabbing some food at Good Hunter. But then, how do I even put this? The sweet madame and sticky honey roast we ordered came to life. Sorry, what?
Então, esse javali é a carne frita com cenoura e mel?
That's right. I managed to catch the sweet madame earlier. Come on, let's wrangle this thing so we can head back and eat. Wait, what? Uh-oh. What is it? More pigeons and forest boars! The rest of our lunch is making a break for it! Huh? Isn't this a Fatui tent? That shouldn't be here. Wait! But there are always those two Fatui around here chatting about stuff.
You've noticed them too? I've been watching them for a long time. Not that I've overheard anything useful. Guess it's just my luck.
Well, actually, they seem to get information a bit slower than the Knights of Favonius. So they usually end up discussing stuff that hasn't been secret in a long time.
Have you guys ever wondered why they don't just go home? Their mission's gotta be over at this point, right?
É, não faço ideia.
Maybe their names got skipped over on the mission roster, so they never got new orders. That's happened to me before.
I suppose, but your experiences tend to be quite unique. It's possible the Fatui stationed them here long-term to keep an eye on things. Or maybe they volunteered for this position because they don't want to go back.
Either way, we should have Nicole take this tent down. It's making Paimon think we're gonna have to fight someone.
Verdade. E não é como se houvesse baú do tesouro também.
I guess you're right. We don't want people getting their hopes up.
Wait, Emily? Huh, it's been a while. Hello, you two. Looking to buy some flowers?
Você tá encarregado dessa loja?
Yes, I came to Mondstadt to collect a few samples for new scent ideas. But I wasn't finding anything. Then, this lady who called herself a mage told me she had a bunch of rare plants she was sure I'd never seen before. All I have to do is manage this flower shop, and I get to research these plants all I want.
Nice! That should help you come up with something new for sure.
If there's one trait they have in common, I think it would be the feeling of summer. Refreshing and clear, cutting through the full-bodied and dreamlike floral notes. I certainly have a lot to research, so I think I'll be here for a while. Did you need anything?
We're looking for things in here that are different from the real Mondstadt. Do you mind if we take a few pictures of these plants? Hey, since you like them so much, why don't we ask Nicole if you could preserve them in some way?
Boa ideia.
Really? That would be amazing. This is my payment after all. I never knew origami flowers could give off a fragrance. Fascinating.
Oh my. It looks like Hertha has gone back to her duties, and Glenfiddia is away somewhere too. Has our dear cutie taken complete charge of the drink stand?
Isso mesmo, quem manda aqui sou eu.
Wonderful. Now I can order without worrying about ending up with one of the logistics company's specials. The type of drink that keeps you awake all night, leaving you no choice but to pass the time working.
Eu achava que você não estava tão ocupada esses dias.
That's right. I'm just a carefree librarian now. If only there weren't so many people with overdue books, and I didn't have to go door to door to get them back. I would have dropped by to chat with you sooner, and try out your delightful creations, of course.
Então, o que será? Tá querendo algum sabor específico?
Let me think. I don't really have a favorite drink. Just rustle me up something rejuvenating that'll lift my spirits. And if it could help me nod off to sleep later, that would be even better.
O estande de bebidas tem uma coleção de receitas clássicas. Vamos começar escolhendo uma delas. Já que Lisa quer se sentir rejuvenescida, a Aurora beijada pela neve. Parece uma boa escolha.
Here's a snow-kissed dawn. Hope you like it.
It's delicious, cutie. Pleasantly tart, sweet, but not cloying, smooth on the palate, with a refreshing aftertaste. If anything, though, I seem to be feeling a little more energetic than I'd like. Perhaps you've unwittingly unraveled Glenfiddia's secret and concocted an even more effective pick-me-up?
Será que mexo nos ingredientes?
Don't worry, there's no rush. Your eyes are aglow with curiosity, as though you have many more questions to ask. Let's chat for a while. Take your time. Inspiration will come soon enough.
Quais livros você coletou hoje?
Since you're asking, it's been a bit of an unusual day. There's a chef, fresh out of training in Fontaine, who's recently taken up a position at the Goth Grand Hotel. She borrowed our most valuable book, the Mondstadt Millennial Compendium of Desserts. Apparently, she plans to use dessert-making techniques to improve the taste of various savory dishes. Something about reducing their greasiness.
Sobremesa de carne. Essa é sem dúvidas uma abordagem nova.
Indeed, and judging by the results, she rather overdid it with the caramel sauce. What should have been fragrant meat slices ended up tasting nauseatingly sweet. Caramel sauce is such a fantastic ingredient, you know? It never fails to please when added to drinks. Sometimes I even add a spoonful to my afternoon tea. Improving food, I suppose, isn't always about being as creative as possible.
Por acaso, isso é um caderno que você trouxe?
Oh, this? That was for another of today's little errands. A large contingent of the expedition team will be returning to Mondstadt soon. They've been away for such a long time, so there's a good chance many of their tastes have changed. Jean asked me to visit some of their families to try and get a better understanding of what new ingredients might satisfy our knights' changing preferences.
Que planejamento detalhado.
Well, They've all devoted their blood, sweat, and time to protecting Mondstadt. They deserve some care and respect in return. Based on what I gathered, the most requested ingredient was cacahuatl from Natlan. It seems like our knights have developed a taste for cocoa. In their letters, many of them mention that they rely on cocoa to keep themselves energized. I've tried hot cocoa myself, and I must say, I find it just as effective as coffee when it comes to staying alert.
Então, que tipo de ingredientes você gosta recentemente?
Lately? So careful with your wording, cutie. Is that because you think that I, too, might have changed since we last met? Or simply because you can't remember?
Bem, você viaja e lê tanto.
Not bad at all. A flawless answer. Back in my student days, I might have been drawn to every new and exciting ingredient I read about, constantly expanding my horizons and stepping out of my comfort zone. But now, I've grown accustomed to a life of comfort and routine. To paraphrase a certain Leowed legal expert, my life is fast approaching a state of living out one's golden years in peace and comfort. I'm no longer so easily moved by adventure and excitement. I'm sure you remember, a few years ago, when we were adventuring together, you found me that sweet-tasting alchemical ingredient. Well, my tastes haven't changed a bit since then.
Foi para algum lugar fora da cidade recentemente?
Surely you're not suggesting I'd take this opportunity to sneak off on a little countryside wander. You caught me. My investigations into Mondstadt's lesser-known drinks took me to Dawn Winery, where I had a little chat with the head housemaid, Adelind. On my way back, I ran into Emmetall out on patrol. She'd encountered some monsters she didn't know how to deal with, and in her desperation, asked for my help. I accompanied her on a detour to Wolvendom to teach some raving hounds a lesson. It's been a while since I've had such an invigorating workout.
Tudo bem, acho que sei o que vai ser bom. Me deixa preparar uma nova versão melhorada.
As expected, cutie, your brilliant mind has grown even sharper. Just a few gentle hints were all you needed to light that special spark of inspiration.
Finished! A new creation, custom made for you. This should help you fall asleep quickly and guarantee you peaceful dreams. It's called a slumbering rose.
From the colors to the choice of glass, everything's been carefully crafted. You've turned it into a completely different drink. Based purely on appearance, it's exactly my style. Time to see how it tastes. Full marks. It's like savoring an exquisite dessert before taking a stroll along the shore of Cider Lake, with a gentle breeze caressing your skin, relaxed and at ease. I no longer feel drained of energy, but neither am I overstimulated. I'm actually starting to feel a little sleepy. As a bedtime drink, this is pure perfection. So good, in fact, that I feel like writing an article to extol the virtues of this slumbering rose. I can use it as an opportunity to crown you the new maestro of mixology.
Acho que você tá indo longe demais. Sua satisfação é todo o louvor que preciso.
Speaking of lakeside strolls, why don't you join me next time there's a clear, warm day, when the sun is bright but not too harsh? Any walk would be more relaxing with you to talk to along the way, cutie. Then, when we get back, you could fix me up another glass of slumbering rose.
Parece ótimo. Vou reservar tempo.
And I'll make just as sure to hold you to that. When the time comes, I won't accept any excuses.
Good afternoon, traveler. I didn't expect the honor of witnessing your harmonizing talents here in Mondstadt.
Emily, você está de férias?
Both, actually. A lady calling herself a mage asked me to come manage her flower shop. At about the same time, the Cat's Tail commissioned me to create a new fragrance for their establishment. Ending today's busy schedule with a drink crafted by you in person is truly a wonderful reward.
Então vou me certificar de não medir esforços.
I have faith in your choice.
Emily é mais sensível para aromas que a maioria das pessoas. Se eu criar uma mistura desequilibrada, ela ficará desconfortável. De qualquer forma, eu posso usar os ingredientes com aromas secundários e tentar dar um toque de um sabor de fontaine no meio. Vamos começar com um crepúsculo luminoso.
Care to give this a try, Miss Emily?
Your artistry is truly a pleasure to watch. This tastes like a local variant of a Lumiduce Twilight. Am I right?
Isso mesmo, você percebeu na hora.
The gentle and elegant taste, with its distinct layers combined with a hint of Mondstadt's characteristic scent, offers quite a welcoming flavor, all the while avoiding potentially discordant aromas. Though in reality, there's no need for you to be so conservative. I have quite a high tolerance for flavors that stray outside the boundaries of conventional wisdom.
Então essa foi muito tradicional? Acho que você está procurando por algo mais vanguardista.
Your drink was nice, but it would be perfect if you could make one with a little more depth. A cocktail that shows off your unique understanding and enhances my impression of Mondstadt. If you need time to mull things over, perhaps you might find inspiration in a little light conversation?
Como está a sua perfumaria ultimamente?
Oh, thank you for asking. It's been going well, though this trip to Mondstadt has presented some unexpected challenges. When I first got here, I was relying on a copy of An Overview of Aromatic Substances and the Human Senses to identify promising local ingredients from the Mondstadt region. To my surprise, my trial fragrance, which used valberry as the primary note, proved far too sweet in the context of a tavern, relaxing people so much that they ended up feeling drowsy. The bartender with the beautiful ears, for instance, fell asleep right at the bar.
Eu nunca imaginei que Valberries pudessem ter esse efeito.
Let's just say that sweetness isn't always a case of the more the merrier. Maintaining an appropriate balance is beneficial for both body and mind. Even in daily life, I rarely eat sweet food, and I try to avoid fruits like berries that have a high sugar content. In the end, I completely eliminated valberry as an ingredient and turned instead to windwheel aster, with some success, I might add.
Você acabou de comprar essas flores?
They're part of my reward from the flower shop owner. Important ingredients for making perfumes. Thanks to these, I was able to complete my commission for the cat's tail. I studied Mondstadt's Cecilia flowers many years ago. In fact, the fragrance of Cecilia in certain fields has become synonymous with Mondstadt itself. However, this is a special case. Some cats are quite averse to the scent of Cecilia, and we need to be particularly mindful of their preferences.
Então, o que você usou como aroma dessa vez?
Windwheel aster. The various parts of the windwheel aster plant can be ground into a powder to extract their essences. I then blended the scents from its petals and leaves. The result carries the intoxicating sweetness of mead, while still emphasizing the fresh notes contained within the flowers, stems, and leaves. I just took it for a little trial run at the cat's tail, and the cats seemed to really like it, while the clients themselves found it comforting and invigorating. Extracting exquisite fragrances from ordinary overlooked ingredients? Oh, that's what truly brings me joy.
O tempo está ótimo hoje. Então é assim que se inicia uma conversa para quebrar o gelo.
It really is. A while earlier, I watched a whole run of fair weather clouds float by, fluffy as pillows. It's not overly humid either, and the wind is gentle too. In such conditions, one's sense of smell is heightened, but not to an excessive degree. When scents are blended well, they naturally combine with the ambient context, leaving particularly powerful impressions.
Eu nunca imaginei que aromas fossem tão impactados pelo tempo.
It seems something similar is true for mixology. As long as you choose a base of appropriate strength, the various flavors will blend seamlessly together. When mixed properly, all the ingredients work as one to create a most wonderful symphony for your taste buds.
Entendo. Então a combinação de sabores é a chave.
Yes, that's it. Now I think about it, layering distinct flavors doesn't really suit my personal preferences.
que você costuma beber?
Usually, after work, my friends from the Maison Gardiennage sometimes treat me to a few drinks. I usually stick to fruit tea. That way, I can get straight back to work after our gatherings. If it's before a holiday and my friends are in high spirits, I sometimes order a small glass of sparkling fruit wine. There was an officer named Terena who used to treat me to aged Corte wine. But since she was transferred to the Special Security and Surveillance Patrol, we haven't had the chance.
Oh, então você bebe álcool às vezes?
In the world of science, high-proof alcohol is a widely used solvent. I've grown well accustomed to the smell of it by now. Besides, when I'm slightly tipsy, my state of mind changes, which in turn alters my approach to perfumes. It doesn't matter if the result is good or bad, it's all about trying something new. So I don't mind drinks with just a little bit of alcohol, but I don't like anything too strong.
Acho que sei como melhorar sua bebida. Espere um pouco enquanto mudo a receita.
Just from our brief chat, you've already formulated a new concoction. Perhaps you possess a natural talent for this kind of creative work.
Here you go. A new and improved, Emily-inspired Lumiduce Twilight. I haven't come up with a name for it yet.
The colors are cooler and more refreshing, and the fragrance is delightfully subtle to match. Are these bright specks on the surface the crushed petals and leaves of windwheel asters?
Sim, isso mesmo.
I'm sure it must taste wonderful. Let me try. In the language of flowers, the windwheel aster represents the visible winds. Your cocktail not only captures their form, but also the fragrance they carry. Therefore, I suggest you call this drink Windborne Bouquet. The winds and clouds of Mondstadt swirl together in the glass, leaving behind enchanting traces of fragrance.
É o nome perfeito vindo de uma mestra perfumista. Elegante e cheio de estilo.
Really? Perhaps it's just a habit of my profession. I'm glad you like it. Now it's time to slowly savor this masterpiece. Thank you so much. This trip to Mondstadt has been so rewarding. This is the most memorable cocktail I've ever had. Once I get back to Fontaine, I will attempt to recreate this moment as both a fragrance and a perfume.
Me sinto honrado.
Once I've perfected the recipes, I hope you'll do me the honor of being the first customer to experience these new products. Until then, I look forward to seeing you in the court of Fontaine.
So you're looking after the drink stand now. If I'd known sooner, I would have stopped by this morning.
Agradecemos o seu apoio. Qualquer hora que precisar de uma bebida, estou aqui para servir.
I've got to say, I'm getting curious. I've heard a lot about your mixology skills. I wonder what kinds of drinks you can mix with the ingredients Glenfiddich has prepared.
Você parece ocupada. Você tem se esforçado muito recentemente, não tem?
I don't have much of a choice. It's just one thing after another right now. First off, the Knights of Favonius annual combat assessment is coming up. And this year, the standards are higher than ever. As the captain of the reconnaissance company, I have to lead by example. At the very least, I need to rank as one of the top 3 captains in the practical portion. So, I've been intensifying my training lately.
Então esse é seu estilo, hein? É a primeira vez que vejo esse seu lado como capitão.
Being a descendant of sinners means I have to work hard to maintain my position. I'll have you know I've never once neglected my duties. Anyway, on top of all that, the General Affairs Company has invited a renowned champion duelist from the court of Fontaine to come here for a swordsmanship exchange. Since I'm one of the captains with the highest attendance rate when it comes to these things, and I'm fairly skilled with a claymore, I was chosen as a representative. I have to prepare thoroughly to make sure I'm a serious match for the champion duelist. And then after the exchange, I need to write at least 6 different reports based on the results.
Parece que você precisa de uma bebida bem forte.
Oh, I sure could. Anything that'll perk me up would be welcome. I'll leave the details to you.
Dada a situação de Eula, deve ser uma boa ideia fazer um raio estelar brilhante.
One twinkling starlight for Captain Eula. Hope you like it.
Judging by your confident tone, I'm certain I will. Well then, I'll make sure to savor this thoroughly. Huh, not bad. Sweet and tingly, with a delightful airiness. The fizzy water really brings it to life. I suddenly feel full of vim and vigor. But just one glass doesn't quite scratch the itch. How about something with a bit more bite?
Não está forte o suficiente para você?
Don't hold back. You don't need to worry about putting me on the floor with nothing but a couple of drinks.
Vamos conversar enquanto eu decido.
Works for me. The first company hasn't assigned me any paperwork for tonight, so I'm free to catch up and try your new creations at my leisure.
Só estou me perguntando, essa garrafa que você está carregando é suco de fruta importado?
That's right. The merchant I got it from called it Romaritime flower fruit extract. It has a very unique smell. Here, have a bottle.
Você tem bebido muito disso recentemente?
Oh, It's a necessary courtesy. In that book Miss Magistus lent me, The Blade Dancer, 20 years on, it says, after a duel, a Fontanian swordsman will politely invite their defeated opponents to a banquet. To properly play host to Miss Clorinde, I searched for quite some time to locate a rare goods merchant in Dorman Port who sold this juice.
Parece algo de uma história.
I had my doubts at first, too. But Amber said something that makes a lot of sense. She said that even if this custom doesn't really exist, following it still shows I've made an effort to understand Fontaine's cultural heritage. Besides, who doesn't like trying new things, right? I'll treat Miss Clorinde to this juice at our post-training banquet.
Como você está se sentindo em relação à sua próxima competição?
Oh my. To be honest, I'm eager to begin, but also a little nervous. Miss Clorinde's combat style comes from the mysterious Marechaussee hunters. In the library, there are some old Fontanian newspapers from hundreds of years ago that give some idea of how formidable an organization it was. A more recent newspaper claimed that Miss Clorinde was an orphan from an underwater kingdom, and that before battle she would perform rituals inviting spirits to possess her sword. Assuming these rumors are true, or that Miss Clorinde's abilities might even be more extraordinary than that, it's important that I'm prepared for anything.
Confronto tão histórico merece uma bebida especial. Será que devíamos comemorar isso como uma bebida temática de espadas?
Incorporating elements of swordsmanship into a drink? Huh. Certainly a creative idea, I'll give you that. I sure could do with an energy boost, but how do you plan to express something like swordsmanship with a cocktail?
Pelo que eu vi, os lutadores de Fontaine armados com rapieiras são excelentes em ataques de perfuração. Eles valorizam muito a precisão e a pressão contínua.
That definitely matches the description I read in that book.
Se eu tivesse que compará-los a uma bebida, eu diria que são como café, vinho gelado de fruta bule ou cidra de Mondstadt. Eles podem não impressionar seus sentidos, mas eles se recusam a desaparecer. Na verdade, a primeira bebida que você experimentou tinha uma base de vinho de frutas.
That's right. You really know your stuff. I doubt there's anyone else in all of Tevat who could come up with such a perfect metaphor.
No entanto, sua habilidade com a espada é diferente. Você é como uma dançarina principal com espadão, guiando sua espada em grandes arcos amplos. Você apenas precisa de um golpe para desencadear uma avalanche de destruição. Em outras palavras, seu estilo está enfatizando um impacto forte no momento do contato?
There's no need to make it sound so fancy. It's just an aristocratic variant of Favonius bladework, with a bit of personal flair.
Então você é mais como um espírito forte que impacta os sentidos com intensidade e depois deixa um sabor final limpo e gelado, sem deixar traços.
Firewater. In recent years, firewaters gained popularity the world over, following in the wake of prosperous Snezhnayan merchants. These days, almost every tavern has a signature drink that uses it as a base.
Então encontramos a melhor solução juntos.
You really are good. Why don't we try replacing the fruit wine with firewater? As for the alcohol content, that's not a problem. Plenty of the expedition team may have drunk themselves senseless with firewater. But me, I'm full of confidence.
Já faz um tempo desde que nos vimos. Você tá baseada na espinha do dragão há todo esse tempo?
Yes, I have. For a while, the situation there was difficult. A gang of outlaw engineers was messing about with some sort of mechanism control technology, attempting to manipulate ruin graders so they could rob merchant caravans. To make matters worse, several veteran knights who had been stationed at Dorman Port were transferred to my squad, and they weren't happy to be taking orders from that Lawrence girl. Leading them on this mission was quite eventful. It took 3 weeks of stealth operations in the snow, with no fires to keep us warm, before we finally located the enemy's stronghold. Those veteran knights faced the bitter cold and were almost taken down by the enemy's smuggled battle mechs. Fortunately, the battle went our way, and they had no choice but to acknowledge my abilities.
Sinto muito que você tenha passado por isso. Você pegou um resfriado?
Me? I'm completely fine. But thank you for your concern. It was mentally tiring for sure. But fortunately, the operation wore them down far more than it did me. They won't be questioning my authority again anytime soon. If any new recruits try to make my life difficult, I'll just have my veterans give them a few friendly pointers. I guess you could call them a permanent solution, huh?
O que você costuma comer quando está ocupada?
If you want to know what I've been eating recently, I'd better start by mentioning the logistics company's latest revolution. They launched a diet improvement initiative and started distributing a form of standardized canned food to knights operating in the wilderness. In the past, we only had dry rations. Every mealtime we had to set up pots and campfires, roll dice to choose a cook, and take turns standing guard. In all honesty, it was a bit of a hassle. Now we just need to bring our standard field rations, comprising of 5 cans and 9 paper packages. We can heat the cans by the campfire, and then we're ready to eat.
Parece bem conveniente.
You did say sounds like, right? Our canned food supplier has quite the stellar reputation, and their regular meals are indeed quite good. The problem is, in order to meet preservation standards, they have to make their military-grade meals way too salty. The vice captain of the 5th Company, who has a somewhat dry sense of humor, went so far as to say, this food's bad enough to bring down the wrath of Li Yue's stove god. In any case, after eating it for a week, my taste buds have gone completely numb.
Realmente está ruim.
You can hardly blame the logistics company. After all, it is hard to please everyone. Our feedback has already been submitted, and they should be working on fixing the issue. Of course, having fresh meals prepared in camp by a dedicated company chef is still the best option.
Certo, acho que isso é tudo que eu preciso. Já sei como vou preparar seu próximo coquetel.
Brilliant! I'm looking forward to seeing how you do.
Here's your all-new Seafoam Sword Song, mixed to meet your personal preferences.
Oh my, what beautiful colors. And you even added my romaritime flower fruit extract. The aroma is perfect, and I can smell the alcohol, but it doesn't stifle the fruity fragrance. Let's see how it tastes.
Mal posso esperar pela sua opinião.
Give me a moment to come up with the right words. I need to think carefully. I know it's unbecoming of a lady, and a proper connoisseur would savor their drinks slowly. But I'm sorry, this is just too good to be true. Can you mix me another?
Quantas você quer? 2, 3? Por mim tudo bem.
Oh, no, what was I going to say? I've completely lost my train of thought. Whatever. I feel fantastic. This cocktail. Oh, it's the best I've ever had. I think I'm gonna head home and get some sleep.
Você acha que tomou mais do que devia?
Don't worry about me. This is the happiest tipsy I've been in years. I'm still far from being drunk. By the time I've gone a few rounds with that Miss Chlorine and completed my reports, I'll have been on duty for 3 months straight. Jean, the acting grandmaster. Isn't it about time she gave me some time off? I won't be forgetting this injustice in a hurry. You mark my words.